Today's video is a battle, a head-to-head comparison of these two devices right here. The top one's a AYANEO Pocket Fit with Snapdragon 8 Elite. Below it, the Odin 3 has a Snapdragon 8 Gen 2. So why exactly are we comparing these two devices? Well, it's because these two handheld consoles are truly the most representative models among all the highest performance Android handhelds available right now. I believe that those of you who are looking to purchase a high-performance Android handheld console might find yourselves in a situation where you're unsure which of these two devices to choose, leading to some hesitation and indecision. So I truly hope that this video will be able to assist those of you in that particular situation. First off, regarding the hardware, the most significant distinction between these two devices lies in the different screen materials they employ. The AYANEO Pocket Fit is equipped with an LCD screen, capable of supporting a refresh rate of up to 144 Hz. However, the Odin 3 uses an OLED screen, which can reach a maximum refresh rate of 120 Hz. Regarding which is better, LCD or OLED, that's really up to personal preference. Some folks truly favor LCD screens, primarily because there's absolutely no need to fret about screen burn-in when they're enjoying classic retro games, especially with those cool scanline filters applied. Others, however, prefer OLED screens. When playing modern games, the colors on an OLED screen are much more vibrant and rich. So that's all for the screens. Next up, let's discuss another quite noticeable distinction between these two devices. Their joysticks are notably different. The AYANEO Pocket Fit here utilizes these small to medium-sized joysticks, whereas the Odin 3, on the other hand, employs a larger-sized joystick. From the perspective of joystick comfort, the Odin 3 definitely has the advantage here. And regarding the overall grip comfort of the entire device, the AYANEO Pocket Fit is actually a little bit better. I don't really want to dwell too much on the hardware specifics. Let's move on to the main point of this video. There's actually one more major difference between these two devices. Their processors and Android versions are different. The AYANEO Pocket Fit has a Snapdragon 8 Gen 1 processor with a removed baseband, yet it's a full-core version. It runs Android 16 and has AYANEO's custom OS. Conversely, the Odin 3 is equipped with a Snapdragon 8 Gen 2 processor, albeit with the basebands and NPU omitted. It runs on Android 15, and its Android system is virtually a pure, unadulterated stock Android experience, very close to the native version. Regarding Odin and AYANEO's devices, I've used many of their machines, so I have my own distinct perspectives on each of their unique systems. Well, Odin's system, in this regard, is comparatively more streamlined. And as for AYANEO, well, since it has a customized Android system, its functionality is much richer and more extensive. Well, Odin's more streamlined system actually offers quite a few advantages. For example, when it comes to installing software, it does so at an incredibly fast pace. On the other hand, AYANEO's software installation is slower. And another point is, from the perspective of tinkering with emulators, when I use the AYANEO to play emulators, sometimes I feel that, possibly due to the influence of its customized system, certain emulators require a more extensive setup process compared to what's needed on the Odin. This difference in configuration is quite significant and noticeable. Also, some emulators, and I'm not sure if it's due to a conflict with the customized system or some other reason, tend to exhibit noticeable stuttering and lag during gameplay, making the experience less fluid. And this particular feature, you won't find it on the Odin. For instance, let's open the PSV emulator on Android on both devices and experience it. Then we both opened up the exact same game. Regarding the AYANEO Pocket Fit, some users in the comment section previously brought up issues with stuttering while playing games, and I had initially thought it would be similar to the S2 Pro. Oh, actually, it's not. It can absolutely play PSV games without any issues whatsoever. However, it truly does exhibit some stuttering issues, but surprisingly, these hiccups do not occur when you are actively engaged in playing a game. Let me give you a quick demonstration here. First, the Odin 3 return. It goes back normally and continues normally. Let's try that again. Now, let's take a look at the Fit's return operation. See? It's laggy. The stuttering's here. But at this point, if we use our old trick, you know, the return trick, and swipe up and then go back into it, it seems to be fine. Can you see it now? I suppose that could be considered a viable workaround for this issue. Alright, and that's as far as the PSV emulator goes here. Next, we'll continue testing this emulator. Some users have reported that when they use the AYANEO Pocket Fit to play the PS3 emulator, specifically when they're playing Gundam Extreme Versus, it tends to be quite laggy and doesn't run smoothly. I tried it, it's quite laggy. So here, I'm going to give you a detailed look at a direct comparison of both devices playing this game, so you can clearly see the distinct differences in their performance. First, let's examine the gaming performance of the machine located above. You can see it, right? So that's one way to fix it, isn't it? See, the game is playable. In fact, it runs quite normally. After making some adjustments to the settings, it performs rather smoothly, though the audio does still experience some slight stuttering. Furthermore, the overall frame rate doesn't consistently hold at 60 frames per second. It tends to fluctuate around the 50 FPS mark. Now let's check out the performance on the Odin 3. You can see the Odin 3 consistently hovers around 60 frames per second. The frame rate is really stable. This is definitely something you wouldn't truly realize without actually doing a comparison. So, when one of our backend team members mentioned that playing Gundam Extreme VS on the AYANEO Pocket Fit was really lagging for them, I actually found that quite peculiar. I mean, shouldn't both of them be performing exactly the same? Well, this can simply be due to the AYANEO Pocket Fit itself. Or perhaps it's related to the Android version on this particular machine, or even because of its custom operating system. And if you look closely, both of these devices are indeed running on the very latest version, 2.39, ensuring optimal performance and compatibility. It's quite impressive that they both utilize the most up-to-date software. Alright, that's all for the PS3 emulator demo. Next, we'll run the NS emulator, and this time, both NS emulators are using the exact same version. For gaming, let's try Mario Kart. With the Nintendo Switch emulator, there isn't really a significant difference in how these two devices handle it. Unlike the PS3 emulator we just saw, the experience is practically identical for both, with no noticeable discrepancies. As you can see here, the Odin 3 has the Snapdragon 8 Gen 2, so it's the 8725S. And over here, the AYANEO Pocket Fit has the Snapdragon 8 Gen 1, which is the 8750P. let's run the game A. A little bit. After this, we'll try out a few more games on this device. And that concludes the NS emulator demonstration right here. Lastly, we'll run the PC emulator, alright? Alright, so on the Odin, I've got this script running. But for the AYANEO Pocket Fit, I'm actually not using any script scheduling at all. Alright, and then I'll show you the settings section for both of these games, right here, so you can take a look. The settings section is exactly the same for both of them. Both of them are actually using the exact same configuration settings for everything. They are quite identical. And it's important to note here that both devices had their core frequencies locked for this particular test. So, seeing as we're testing the PC emulator, the particular game I've selected this time around is Stellar Blade, and this title is actually quite demanding when it comes to machine performance, you know. Let's look at the Odin 3's performance first. If you don't enable the script or lock the cores for this game, its temperature frequently stays above 100 degrees Celsius.
Rendezvous here. You take the left, I'll...
In a moment, its frame rate should pick up to approximately just under 40 frames per second.
Still got it. Good. Next coordinates, rendezvous at 2 o'clock.
The temperature, it's around 80 something degrees Celsius right now. You can lock this game to 30 FPS, then enable frame interpolation for a stable 60, and the temperature will be even lower. Okay, that's it for Odin 3. Now let's look at the AYANEO Pocket 81.
Rendezvous here. You take the left. I'll take care of this side.
The frame rate is the same. It spikes to almost 40 at the beginning, then drops back into the 30s. So, why am I showing you this specific opening scene? It's because this initial area, for this particular game, presents one of the most demanding performance challenges.
Next rendezvous point, 2 o'clock, 400 meters.
There's really not much difference between the two. It locks to 30 frames.
Jump over, but be very careful now, all right? We don't want any accidents here, so please watch your step closely.
Alright everyone, that concludes our demonstration of the game for today. I truly hope you all enjoyed watching it. Finally, let's wrap up this video with a summary. As you could tell from the gameplay demo we just saw, there really isn't much of a difference between the two when it comes to performance, you know. Well, after all, the architecture and the GPU model for both of these processors are indeed the same. Next, we need to talk about the Konkr Fit. It's quite possible, due to Android 16 or its customized operating system, that there are indeed some noticeable lagging issues when running certain emulators. For some of these situations, you can use the return method to solve that problem. However, for certain games, it genuinely runs with more noticeable lag compared to the Odin 3. Thus, the conclusion we can draw is that the Odin 3 is indeed slightly superior to the AYANEO Fit 8 when it comes to experimenting with emulators and playing games. However, the customized system on the Konkr Fit isn't completely without its merits. It definitely possesses its own unique advantages as well. Right, so let's check this out. For instance, it comes with a device spoofing feature. When you utilize this device spoofing capability, you can play certain mobile games and even unlock much higher frame rates. This particular feature, mind you, is something that the Odin, unfortunately, does not possess. Another point is that it also has this allows it to privileges, granting it better scheduling capabilities, or access to other functions, such as launching the Lion library with access, which was previously feasible. However, with the Odin, you're dependent on experts to create the scripts, making it significantly less convenient to use compared to the Konkr Fit, which is more user-friendly. Also, one more point to add, because I've just been testing both machines with quite demanding emulators and playing some really heavy games, the Odin 3's screen got noticeably hotter than the Konkr Fit's. This indicates that the Fit's heat dissipation is actually a little bit better than the Odin 3's. Finally, let's discuss the distinct advantages that each of these two machines brings to the table. The Konkr Fit's LCD screen is eye-friendly, no burn-in. It feels great to hold and dissipates heat well. And its system features are quite comprehensive, making it exceptionally well suited for playing mobile games and PC emulator games. Then, the Odin 3 features an OLED screen with vivid colors. Its overall system is quite streamlined, making it ideal for experimenting with emulators to play games, such as the PS3 emulator. Even PC emulators work flawlessly. Moreover, the tactile feel of its larger joystick surpasses that of the AYANEO. The smaller joystick on the Fit actually feels better to the touch. Well, in my humble opinion, since I personally don't usually play mobile games on these Android handhelds, the Odin 3 definitely emerges as the winner in my book. It really stood out for me. Alright everyone, that pretty much covers all the content for this video. Thanks for watching, and please be sure to follow me. Well then, I'll see you all in the next video.